I will never get over the fact that this was the first YouTube app icon. Only real one remember these. One was always not working. Only OGs used to have these on their ceiling in their room. 7-year-old me when the computer wasn't even turned on. Overthinking during childhood. The flavor of the wooden spoon haunts me to this day. How strict was your parents? My parents could speak to me with their eyes. Who remember these? These won't erase shit and they taste horrible. Total Wipeout was a legendary show, hands down. I used to think I could finish all the obstacle courses. Childhood days. Is it downloading? Yes, it is. Me in my childhood without any reason. Sure, that's scary, but remember Frank from Cars? Someone lighting a cigarette. Me. The loudest fucking noise of your childhood scared the shit out of me every time. So did anyone else go through a phase as a kid where you were genuinely concerned about the Bermuda Triangle? 6-year-old me was like, bro, why are we not solving this problem? These are the most popular outdoor toys ever made. Not a cell phone in sight, just people living in the moment. How fuck are kids these days vaping? When I was a kid, I was trying to figure out how they got cars into malls. Mom, I got your nose. 2-year-old me. My little brother came home from the dollar store and threw one of these at me. I went so far back in the memory lane I got fucking lost. I must have missed the meeting when the step 5 happened. This is the baby Sark of 2000s kid. One burned you alive and the other one electrocuted you with the static. The original autotune. I can both hear this image and feel it hitting me in the face. Pitong. Thinking it was illegal to turn this light on while your mom was driving. What do you remember most from your childhood? Hey, did you ask yet? Me. No, my mom's in bad mood. Me in my childhood for no reason. If you don't got one of these on your legs, you soft on my mama. 7-year-old me half sleep in the back of my parents' car. Me mapping every turn in my head to see if I knew where I was. Why was there always bite taken out from these balls? Because they were fucking good. 9-year-old me watching TV with my parents, not moving a muscle so they don't know it's past my bedtime. This ball played a big role in almost everyone's childhood. This is the ball every kid played within the store but never actually bought or took home. This picture just got stuck to the roof of my mouth. What was your favorite struggle meal growing up? You ever had sleep for dinner? You don't know concentration until you have to take this thing from the sink to the freezer. Before Snapchat and Instagram was around, this is where you showed off your shoes and outfit. Never forget where you came from. These lollies used to cut tongues viciously. Another childhood pleasure which has no explanation. Me in childhood without any reason. I am now convinced that most of us had the same childhood. Throwback Thursday. Where is computer number 9? We are not living until it's back. Elementary kids have iPhones, but this is what I did in elementary. Remember in the early 2000s when your aunt would have a random ball filled with blue glass pebbles sitting in a windowsill? Anyone else remember when kids in school used to do this? Wait for it to dry, then eat it. You had me all the way up until you said, eat it. Kids who played with their DS like this are in all prison now. Vegetable characters as vegetables. I found this picture in the deepest cervix of my memories. What is this and why do I remember it? They banned push pops in school because people were sucking them into pointy weapons. Who remember the temporary building at school that were up for decades? Hashtag today's kids will never know how big a deal it was to go to the computer lab. This mustache obsession was so cringy. This was undoubtedly the weirdest part of the 2012 hipster trends. Why you all millennial babies wouldn't understand, this was Netflix before Netflix. Only the real ones had the bootleg DVDs with the Sharpie label. I am this old. Damn, you all going too deep into the vault for this one. When things used to be so simple, sometimes I wonder if we actually had the same childhood. 7-year-old me disassembling and reassembling my pen. Did anyone else's parents make them go to sleep early 2 weeks before school started to prepare? Who remembers? Crack the egg was all fun and games until you got hit with a double bounce and went flying off the trampoline. Absolutely no one. 6-year-old me. The Weemies were the original Bitmojis. Black dude in the orange shirt will beat your ass up in boxing too. Who you got? Really would prefer not to see this kind of violence on my timeline. When the raindrop you pick on the window doesn't win the race. I am this old. This is why we can spot our man from a mile away. Oh my god, you all remember this? All public schools were not created equal. BC, what the fuck is this? Me when thousands of memes flash before my eyes before I die instead of cherished memories of loved ones and my childhood. 10-year-old me looking at the camera in supermarket. Who remember these? We all used to bite this like they were actual burgers. Blow my mind. Curious George only liked him because he looks like a banana. Retweet if you remember using this as a kid. I really thought I deserved a degree in mechanical engineering after plugging these in. Resting your head on the cold window just hit different. What were these for and why are they so familiar? What's the dumbest shit you ever did as a kid? My shining moment was when I was 4, I put floaties on my feet and jumped into a pool thinking I would walk on water. I almost drowned. $10 as a kid versus $100 as an adult. Before cell phones and social media, this is how we figured out where the squad was at. Those of you that had your first panic attack in one of these bad boys know what's up. 6-year-old me waiting for my mom to choose what I'm going to wear after taking a bath. Me as a kid when I fix my toy car. Mechanic. Me fake sleeping in the car as a kid so I can get carried inside. Having a kid sounds stressful. Like how do you make sure they have just enough childhood trauma that they will turn out funny? 10-year-old me sitting at the top of the stairs listening to my parents talk shit about me. Demon about to kill me as an 8-year-old. 10-year-old me getting ready to open the door. My mom's not home. This was probably the most irrational childhood fear that I had. What's the dumbest belief you ever had as a child? When I was 4 or 5, I swore that bird seeds grew birds, thus the name. When my parents asked me to prove it to them, I planted a pile of bird seeds. The next day there were loads of birds where I planted the seed, showing I was right. Who knows what this is? A teachable moment for an overly curious child in a car alone. Family, why do you love pizza so much? My TV as a kid. I found this in the depth of your memories. One time when I was 11, my dad took me to an Italian restaurant. The waiter asked what my name was and I said, Sam, but you can call me Captain Revoli, and my dad just looked at me and said, what the fuck was that? Don't do that. And I have been chasing that high ever since. If you don't feel old yet, here's your childhood behind glass in a museum. 5-year-old me in a mall. I can only step on white tiles or I will die. An accurate representation of going from childhood to adulthood. If you don't know this problem, I feel sorry for your childhood. Sharpening a pencil at the bin was the childhood equivalent of taking a cigarette break. I didn't even realize I spent my childhood playing with coronavirus. I was banned from taking bath when I was younger because I would use all the bubble bath, and when confronted in the tub, I would retreat into bubbles and tell them to schedule an audience if they wanted to meet the king of the bubble kingdom. This was a personal story I shared in confidence. All of you will try it for death. I have no tolerance for treason in the bubble kingdom. Getting hit in the face by this ball when it was wet was mad. Felt like you got slapped by Wolverine. In 6th grade, I had a really big crush on this boy who had a girlfriend. So one day, I messaged him a link to the music video for You Belong to Me by Taylor Swift. Joe, if you're reading this, that was weird. My bad. How old were you when you realized recess in the elementary school was for the teachers' mandatory breaks, not for the students? 10 things that will hit you right in the childhood. Finding out your future. You all ever used to go to your parents' room at night to ask to go to a friend's house and just sat there on the bed for a while pretending like you were interested in what they were watching, but really you were just trying to build up the courage to ask. You didn't have a childhood if you didn't put one of these bad boys under your legs in the pool and pretended you were surfing, and then it shoots out the water like a torpedo and gives you Mike Tyson uppercut from hell.